Planet Dolan. From falling waist deep into cow shit to having someone pee on your shoes, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the grossest things that's ever happened to you. I'm Gerdgak, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by MrPokeGamer. When Dolan was in kindergarten, he went to the bathroom to enjoy a nice morning crap. While he was in there, another kid came in, saw Dolan's feet under the door, and decided to enact his evil plan. He crouched down, aimed his penis under the stall, and peed all over Dolan's shoes. Oh god, Dolan stank like piss for the rest of the day. Number 9 was submitted by CurioINC. One day, Honeybit's friend invited her to a dairy farm. She wanted to show Honeybits the goose nest that she had found under the cow pen. This pen had been empty for a while, so they figured it would be safe to walk across it in the rubber boots. But as soon as Honeybit stepped into the pen, she sank waist deep into a pool of manure. Apparently, her friend's dad had decided to turn the pen into a storage for cow shit. Honeybit's boots were completely filled, so she had to abandon them. The pool of shit was too deep to climb out of, so she had to slowly wade through it to get to the other side. They hosed off, but Honeybits still smelled like cow manure for the next week. Number 8 was submitted by Cape Crusade. When Slapped Ham was in the 6th grade, he went on a field trip to Greenville House. On the 4th day there, the teacher burst in during lunch and said,
"Alright, who threw their poo at the shower wall?"
She systematically went around asking questions and wouldn't let anyone go until they proved they were innocent. Slapped Ham was a suspect until the very end. During his interrogation, he broke down crying. He told the teacher that while he was scratching an itch in the shower, he felt something slide out of his butt. He didn't know what to do, so he panicked and threw the shit at the wall. Slapped Ham didn't want anyone to know it was him, but once it came out, he became a school legend. Number 7 was submitted by QualityLennySpam. My friend Pringle has a messed up relationship with food. This one time his cousin dared him to down an expired yogurt drink. The drink had been sitting in the backseat of a car for a whole week during one of the hottest summers on record. It stank like hell and tasted like really sour blackberries. Oh god, poor Pringle, he never went down that dairy aisle again. Number 6 was submitted by Munchonacho. One night, Andy was chilling on her bed watching some stuff on YouTube. She was putting on her lip balm when she accidentally dropped it down the side of the bed. As she reached under it and felt around, she felt something a little furrier than lip balm. Andy poked her head under the bed to investigate and found 500 baby spiders hatching. She screamed so loud she woke everyone in the house. The proud mommy and daddy spiders were under there too, probably wishing they had some goddamn privacy. Number 5 was submitted by Robo. When Robo was little, he used to make his dog sleep on his bed every night. His mom told him to leave the door open so the dog could go out and pee if it needed to. But Robo didn't want the dog to wake up and leave him, so he kept the door closed. Jump ahead to Christmas night when Robo and his family had a big feast. Robo's dog hung around his owner all night eating table scraps. He ended up eating a lot of human food that he wouldn't normally eat. That night, Robo took his dog with him to bed. In the middle of the night, he woke up to a warm, wet sensation on his face. Robo's dog had threw up on his face and was proceeding to lick it back up. Robo's screams woke up his whole family. His mom thinks it was the dog's way of protesting against being locked up all night. Number 4 was submitted by Maddieboo13 Zeig. The grossest thing that happened to Doobie was in middle school during a routine fire drill. The siren had rang, so Doobie and her friends were heading to the evacuation point. As they waited for their names to be called, Doobie heard some girls talking about her. One of them tapped her on the shoulder and said,
"You're on."
Doobie didn't know what they meant, so she said,
"Okay," with a
smile on her face. The girl then offered her a tampon, pointed it to a huge stain on Doobie's tights, and said,
"You're on your period."
Doobie was so embarrassed that she left the roll call. She ran straight to the bathroom where she stuffed lots of toilet paper into her underwear. She sent her friend a text asking if she could borrow her jacket and tied it around her waist to cover the leak. For the rest of the day, Doobie was terrified people would see the stain or notice her fishy odor. She even thought about skipping class. In the end, Doobie made it through the horrible day. When she got home, she washed her friend's jackets, though she never saw her wear it again. Number 3 was submitted by MaximumCarnage. One day, Snoopy's teacher had a bad cold. Instead of staying home, she came in and made her students listen to her sniffling all day. That morning, the teacher went around checking everyone's homework. When she got to Snoopy, she stood over her desk looking at her answers. That's when Snoopy noticed a disgusting liquid dripping from her teacher's nose. The liquid fell in slow motion and splashed onto Snoopy's binder. The teacher acted like it wasn't a big deal and just wiped it away with the tissue. But Snoopy was horrified. She was a huge germaphobe and couldn't bring herself to use the binder again. She threw the binder in the trash, understandably, and never looked at her teacher the same way again. Number 2 was submitted by Bookworm83. Dolan's brother was driving home from his honeymoon when he suddenly needed to pee. He stopped in to use the men's room at a gas station and immediately knew something was wrong. What he could smell wasn't the usual gross public bathroom smell. It was the holy shit, is the sewage line backed up kinda smell. He bravely pressed on to the door. The smell here was so terrible it made him want to puke. Dolan's brother had worked as a janitor in the past, so he'd come across some nasty things in his time, but this was by far the worst smell he'd ever experienced. When he opened the door, he was sure something had died and rotted there in the summer heat wave. The toilet had mold all over it, like it had never seen a sponge or any sort of cleaning fluid. It obviously hadn't been flushed, so someone had been desperate enough to use it. The tiles were wet with God knows what, and there was no sink or soap to wash your hands. The worst part was the dried orange stains running up the walls. Dolan's brother knew that these stains were human urine. Even though he was absolutely busting, he immediately closed the door, went back to his car, and drove as fast as he could to the next place with the toilet. His new wife said he looked like he'd just seen a ghost. Number 1 is a story by me. Hello? Oh god, I've dealt with some gross stuff, but this one really takes the cake. So one day I was over at a friend's house and he offered me something to drink, right? No biggie, super nice of him I thought. He gave me a cup of soda that he poured in. Then I looked at the drink. Easily this soda had been out for months. Years even. I just looked back at him and smiled. I didn't want to hurt the guy's feelings. I don't know, I'm kinda weird. So I drank a little. It was like syrup. I could barely get it down. After drinking the whole thing, hanging out, and leaving his house, I was sick for about a week. I then found out that he just grabbed a can from his grandfather's study. It went bad way back in the early 70s, and the cap was slightly open, so god, who knows what was in it. It gives me chills thinking about it. It doesn't seem that bad compared to these other stories, but man, soda should not have the consistency of sludge. I know I just said it, but I got sick. Really sick from that. Huge thank you for the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. But we have another question for you. What's something you did to get back at someone? Let us know on the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown. Alright, well that's it. Hope you guys had a good time.
At the time, they tasted really good, and she remembered them having a really good texture to chew on. Melissa would grab a piece with really green leaves and just chew on it, and when the leaves fell, she wouldn't eat it because it didn't taste as good.